and welcome to Trailblazers. I'm sure many of us have encountered, at some point in our life, a fear of public speaking. In fact, that fear is believed to affect 73% of people and has been cited as the most common phobia amongst humans. My name is Tahira Nizari. I'm a social entrepreneur, development worker, and co-founder of Cited here in Tanzania. You are joining me today at the beautiful Serena Hotel in Dar es Salaam. I am very excited for our show today, as we get to speak to my friend and fellow entrepreneur, Danish Dhamani. Born in Pakistan and raised in Tanzania, Danish graduated from Drexel University in Philadelphia, USA, with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Inspired by his fear of public speaking, Danish used this personal experience, combined with passion to build, to create Orai, a public speaking app that has helped over 300,000 people speak more clearly and confidently, with AI feedback. To date, Orai has raised $2.5 million in funding and is ranked the #1 speech coaching app in the world. Danish is an inspiration. He's a TEDx speaker, speech coach, and a successful entrepreneur. He is featured on Forbes' Top 30 Under 30 list for 2021. Please join me as Danish tells us about his big dream, helping anyone, anywhere in the world, become a better communicator. Thank you for joining me today to share your exciting journey. As a co-founder of Orai, can you tell us a little bit about Orai and what inspired you to create this personal speech coaching app?
So Orai is a public speaking app that has helped over 300,000 people across the globe speak more powerfully. And you might not believe it, but I used to be shy. I used to be nervous. That's why I became a mechanical engineer. I never needed in my job to perhaps go and speak. But I was wrong. One day at my internship, my manager pulled me aside and she's like, Danish, you can be the smartest engineer in the room, but if you don't know how to present confidently and clearly, you're putting a glass ceiling on your head. You'll never become a manager, you'll never become a leader. And I said, what should I do? I searched on Google how to overcome the fear of public speaking. The first link told me about the great things I could be if I overcame this fear. Sound like a leader, get a great job, share your ideas, give a TED Talk, change the world. And this manager of mine recommended I join this public speaking club called Toastmasters, which I did, changed my life completely, went there religiously week after week after week, and realized that this is actually a learnable skill. Anyone can improve their confidence in speaking. And fast forward a few months, I realized, how do I bring this to anybody? How do I bring Toastmasters to anybody? And so my co-founder and I, who was my roommate at college, decided to build this app that would give you feedback on your ums and ahs, how fast or slow you're speaking, your energy variation, your smile, just like a speech coach would. And to date, it's been used all across the globe. We believe that we can use technology to help people become better versions of ourselves. And the reason I'm sharing my story with you guys today is not to tell you guys, go out and build apps or be entrepreneurs. I'm saying, go out and face your fears. Don't bury them deep inside. If you have a problem, look for a solution. If nothing exists, create that solution.
So you have said that being an entrepreneur is a mindset. How did your family and the way you were raised impact your drive and desire to be an entrepreneur?
If I look back, there was never this desire to become an entrepreneur. It's more like it just came to be. In fact, I didn't even know the word entrepreneurship until my second year of college. But this idea, if I look back, is I always had that mindset. To me, entrepreneurship does not mean, hey, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Orai. That's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the way you think, the way you look at your surroundings, your environment, your day-to-day work, and you find ways to improve efficiency, or you find ways to improve the lives of other people. To me, that is what entrepreneurship is all about. And I felt I always had that drive from a very, very young age. And I thought this is just meant to be. And when I did my internships, I did job, which was like 9 to 5. I didn't really feel like I fit in. And this seemed very, very natural to me. And so today I'm an entrepreneur.
Amazing. I love that you're talking about improving the lives of others. I want to discuss with you Maulana Hazir Imam's emphasis of improving the quality of life of Murids around the world. In your interview with Dream Big & Co., you speak about the communication as a means to change the quality of life of individuals. Has this influenced Orai's initiatives and its development and growth?
Always. And not just Orai, but my personal goals in life. It all revolves around this idea of Hazir Imam saying quality of life, improve the life of others. If I start something today or if tomorrow, I don't only think of, hey, let's just make money, let's just build an app. It's not like that. It's more about what is the problem I'm trying to solve and how can I improve the quality of life of other people by solving that problem.
What is the end goal with all of this? And as we would say, like the big dream you have for what you're creating?
What we started off with, which is helping anyone, anywhere in the world, become a better communicator. And that does not mean 1,000,000 lives. That means 100 million, 1,000,000,000 lives. Because everyone can improve with better communication skills. Everyone's quality of life can change if they are a better communicator. Whatever part of the world you're in, 100%. I've seen that over and over again. Quality of life changes if you can become a more confident and credible communicator. That is what I want to see. And what a better way than using technology to really scale it in a cost-effective manner across the globe. That is what I would like to see. To me, that is the basis of entrepreneurship. You don't just go out and make a Flappy Bird app. It's more about, this is the problem I've seen that people face, and you solve it. And by solving it, you're improving their lives. Either that might mean you help them get jobs, either you help them increase their promotion in their jobs, maybe get shelter, food, whatever it might be. It's always focused on quality of life. So that's what drives us today. When we look at what features we should build next, we always look back at that. How can this help millions of people as a global citizen? You think about not just Tanzania, but people in the US, people in Afghanistan, anywhere in the globe. And that what drives us every single day.
Mm-hmm. And in the past, you have said, not hundreds of people, not thousands of people, not even millions of people. You're talking about 1 billion people that you can directly impact with quality of life.
Yeah. I think about myself. I'm like, I've been fortunate, I've been blessed to have all the resources I need. If I want to build $1 billion startup, have impact on billions of people's lives, I can do that. I have the resources with venture funding. I have the right team, the right talent. I have the right network and the right community. I'm young, I'm smart, I can do it. So why not do it?
So true. Now, I want to shift the focus a little bit and discuss revenue generation versus social impact. What is your view in terms of prioritizing financial returns and impact, social impact on people?
I think they go hand in hand. It's not like, oh, let's focus on making money first and then we'll think of social impact. Nor is it the other way around. You can't think of let's have social impact first and then think of making money tomorrow. In fact, that's one of my top mistakes as an entrepreneur. When we launched Orai, we made it free. Like anyone in the world could just download it and use it. It was not until like 2 years later or a year and a half that we actually started charging for it. And by then we realized these people who we had accumulated, the people who thought Orai should be free, were no longer our customer base or the ideal persona. We could no longer serve them. In fact, we made them angry. So if you are a business, whether you're a social enterprise, a for-profit or a non-profit, you need to think about revenue generation from day one. Don't think you're going to rely on some donations or some grants. No, take control of your destiny. Don't even think as an entrepreneur, I might raise investor funding. Even that, when you raise money from investors, you're compromising on your control and your destiny of your company. So any entrepreneur out there, if you can, think about how can you make money today. Even if that revenue generation is not directly tied to your primary service, let's say you're a nonprofit or a social enterprise and you are providing an X service, how could you be thinking outside the box creatively and figure out perhaps a service or product that you could start charging today to a different customer persona, but use that means to make yourself sustainable. Because if you don't figure out how to make yourself sustainable, tomorrow you might not be alive to continue serving that population who you aspire to solve for.
The primary purpose of a business is making money. And don't think of that as a bad thing. Making money is not a bad thing. People sometimes put a negative connotation on making money. Money is, in my opinion, a good correlation towards value creation.
Absolutely. That word sustainability it means so much more than what is in the discourse right now, right? It's sustainability of the environment, the social side, etc. But it's also sustainability of your business. And I remember in one of your podcasts, you talked about sustainability and having your customers see value in your service.
Yeah.
That in itself is a return.
It is. People think about ROI, return on investment. If they're paying you $5 for a tea or for an app that helps them with public speaking, they better be making $5 or more because of using your app. And if you cannot prove that ROI to your customer base early on, it's going to be so hard to sell them. You're always going to be tired of trying to make those sales. I talk to so many entrepreneurs who are like, I've been in sales calls day and night with 100 or so prospects, and only 5 of them have said yes. 95 of them have told me no. The reason they're saying no is because you are not articulating the ROI. Why should they pay you? So that delivery of value is so important.
You recently retweeted that being a CEO is a really lonely job. Entrepreneurship is tough. In the difficult moments, how do you stay focused on making progress and going forward?
As a CEO, I don't think anyone can understand this job unless you have been a CEO yourself. In fact, I can't talk to my friends about the kind of stress I go through, or my parents or my investors, unless they have been through this journey themselves. The only people I seek solace with or in is other founders or other entrepreneurs or CEOs who know the stress load as a CEO you go through. Because every day, today could be your last day of your startup. Tomorrow you could die. The statistics are against you. 90% of startups fail. Why? Tomorrow your biggest customer might say no. Tomorrow you might run out of money. Tomorrow you might not have the right team. Tomorrow people might not value your product. Any of these things could happen. We're not IBMs or Microsoft who we know will survive next year. Tomorrow could be our last day of survival. So it's very stressful. And the other thing that's stressful is it's uncertain. That's uncertainty, but finding clarity in uncertainty, very difficult. It's like you're the captain of a ship, and you know this is your vision, this is where you want to go. And you have to tell your team that this is the right direction. But you are not certain that this is the right direction. Tomorrow, you might need to steer away and tell your team, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. This product, this service, this direction did not work out. Let's shift gears. And you just go through that iterations continuously.
Mm-hmm. I can totally empathize.
That's why founders get their executive coaches. They get their therapists, and this is very real. And if there's any entrepreneur out there, 100% recommend that.
If you're an entrepreneur, put a poster up. Ask for help. Mentors are key, but you have to be careful as well. So like everything out there, there's pros and cons. Of course, as an entrepreneur, especially early stage entrepreneur, you don't know a lot of things. And if you find someone who is 1 or 2 years ahead of you, who have recently done this thing, they can provide most of the obstacles and tell you how to avoid them. Then there's a completely different type of advice you'll get from those who are 5 years ahead of you. So you need to know the difference between both of them. And there is the issue of mentorship, that is, you end up trusting them sometimes more than you trust your gut feelings. And I don't want entrepreneurs to discount their gut feelings.
You need a lot of self-awareness.
Yes. And trusting your gut feeling should be the biggest source of truth for yourself.
A couple of your entrepreneurship teachings include the sayings, don't leave any stone unturned and live in the present. How has the pandemic provided you with an opportunity to grow personally, you as Danish?
Yes. Before that, I like the leaving no stones unturned. Many people think sometimes, oh, this founder got overnight success, or this founder is so lucky. It's not like that. What success is making the most of every opportunity. And the way you make most of every opportunity is by being everywhere, whether it's at networking event, whether it's at conference, whether it's pitching to that customer. It's making the most of that and not leaving any stone unturned, because you never know when you might hit the jackpot. That's one thing I've always been doing from the get-go. The other thing you mentioned was being mindful, being present. And it goes back to this idea of stress. The only way you can deal with it is by being mindful, by being calm. And the best way, science has proven, is meditation or perhaps yoga. And so that's something I do every morning. I try to when I can wake up, but just sit, try and it's like your monkey mind is running at 100 miles per hour. You're trying to calm it down. Even though you're getting ideas, you're getting problems, you're just calming it down. And it's like a muscle. You just have to build it. And if you do, it's the most invaluable muscle you can build in your whole body.
Absolutely. Meditation early in the morning. What time do you wake up?
I try and wake up sometime between 4 and 5. I sit for however long I can. Sometimes I fall asleep, sometimes I manage. And then I wake up later on around 8 or 9 a.m.
Zero checklist time. So what would be some advice that you would give to someone who says, Danish, I'm an aspiring entrepreneur and I have an idea. How do I start?
You might have an idea. You might think you want to build an app. I would say take a step back. I think of something called the napkin business plan. Think of taking out a napkin, and these are the 4 questions you need to answer. The first one is, what is the problem you're trying to solve? It's not about your idea. It's not about your solution. It's not about the app you want to build. Just throw that in the dustbin. It's all about the problem. If you're not trying to solve a problem, then you're just creating another thing the world might not need. So the first question you want to answer on your napkin is, what is the problem I'm trying to solve? The second question is, who is the person I'm solving the problem for? And you have to be very specific. Initially, the biggest mistake I made was anyone who speaks English. That's the person I'm solving the problem for. That's too broad. Ages 19 to 26, male and female, working in the tech profession. Now that's specific niche. You can go after that. You can go on Facebook ads, you can go on Google, you can figure out how to target that group of, let's say, about 1 million people. That's good enough. Don't target 300 million people at the start of the plan. So that's the second question. Who is the person you're trying to solve the problem for? The third question is the market big enough for that problem? So that persona group, are there just like 1,000 people? Are there 1 million people? Are there 100 million people? Is that market big enough? Because if the market is big enough, it's like you're throwing a dart. You might miss in the first go, but you might end up hitting the right thing if your market is big enough. And the fourth and the last question, which is the most important that entrepreneurs always skip, is, can you validate the person you need to go to is that persona you wrote down in number 2? So, and not just 5, but at least 30. Go out there, out of your room, go and talk to at least 30 of those persona. Ask them, hey, I'm solving this problem. Would you, if I solve this problem, I'm not your friend. If someone just knocks on your door and asks you, would you pay $10 a month? Be serious. Would you pay? They're like, maybe not. Now that's the real answer you want. You want to go and find until 30 people tell you, here, take my wallet, take my money. I'm dying with this problem. Now you know you've hit the right nail. And don't go and say, oh, I'm building this app. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your solution is. Again, throw it in the dustbin. It's all about what is the problem you're trying to solve for. Remember when I talked about quality of life? It's only solving problems that improves the life of other people. It's not another app. It's not another solution. It's not like that. So if you're an aspiring entrepreneur who has an idea, throw your idea out of the bucket, figure out what is the problem, and do these 4 questions. Problem, persona, market, willingness to pay. That's it. Once you have this, go to an advisor, go to a mentor, and you'll be golden.
I love that you're saying put the user at the middle, at the center of your planning. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones you're building this entire thing for.
Yeah, that's design thinking 101. It's all about the persona.
in the startup world, especially in the early stages, you shouldn't be trying to find efficiency in going from point A to point B. You should not try and find ways that are scalable. At the early stages, you do things that are non-scalable. By the very beginning of an early stage startup, you are doing things that don't scale. For example, you're talking to as many customers as you can. That is not a scalable process. When you look at the founding story of the Airbnb founders, they were going to every single host. That's not something that is
That's a good
scalable.
point.
But you do things that are non-scalable at the early stages to find all the data points that you can get around your customer, around your problem you're solving, around the problem solution fit.
Aside from surrounding yourself with like-minded people, other CEOs, what do you do to reduce stress?
I think of stress as one of those factors in your overall well-being. Your overall well-being has like 3 or 4 pillars. One of them is eating healthy. The other one is exercising healthy. The other one is your mental health. And the last one is your physical fitness. So if you reduce the lever on any of these 4 things, you're going to be stressed, or you won't know how to deal with that stress better. So I do all of these 4 things. Very mindful about my diet, what I eat, making sure it's not just junk food, but it's a whole nutritious diet. It's something I've even made my family start doing since I've been spending a lot of time with them over the pandemic. The second one is sleeping. 8 hours of sleep, not 7 hours, not 6 hours, not 5 hours. Research has shown 8 hours of sleep is so important. Sleep is the most effective drug against a ton of illnesses. When you're getting older, you get certain diseases, you can fight that with sleep. If you're young, sleep is one of those ways that your brain just throws away all the negative enzymes or whatever, so that the next day you're fresh, you're healthy, you're good. So 8 hours of sleep. Then the next one was mental well-being, and that is through either mindfulness, meditation, or talking and letting out your emotions. One thing with guys, they're not good at talking. That's why I believe women live longer than guys, is because they're okay expressing their thoughts, their inner feelings. Guys just bottle them up, and that's not good. You have to talk about your stresses, and trust me, everyone has something or the other to talk about. So find those right people who might be your people to go to. It could be a cousin, your sister, your brother. It could be your dog, whatever it might be. You could even open your phone and just record yourself. Whatever it is, just take it out. So that helps with the mental well-being. And finally, exercise. So important. And exercise is not just your Fitbit telling you did your 10,000 steps. It's not just walking. That's like the bare minimum. You need to sweat. You need to let your heart go to at least 130 beats per minute. That's when you're actually exercising every single day. So important. For me, I love squash, I love badminton, and I love cycling. Since I've been in Dar for the pandemic, I've joined a cycling group where every weekend we go 40 kilometers, 60 kilometers. Just this morning, I went 40 kilometers with this great group of people. And I just feel healthier. And if you do all these 4 things, trust me, you will feel whole. You will know how to fight stress better. It's that simple. It's a formula.
Do you have a message that you want to share with your viewers today?
I think, there's one. Just this other day, I had someone in Jamaat Khana come to me and say, Danish, you must be so busy. You are running the startup. How do you manage to come to Khane regularly? How do you make time for your faith? And I tell them that this world we have, everyone is always in this race of achieving success, right? And once you hit certain milestones, it always feels like you're still not successful. It's like the milestones always keep changing. If you balance the faith, I personally believe that this worldly success will just come to you. I think that's like the $1 million secret we all have. The other thing faith gives, at least me, is this sense of contentment, this sense of I'm okay where I am. I might not need to make $1 million tomorrow. I might not need to have another successful startup. Wherever I am fine. I am content, I am joyful, and that's the other beauty that faith gives me. And I would highly recommend anyone out there who's looking for material success to try this angle as well.
Absolutely. And you feel so much more fulfilled being in Jamaat Khana or just sitting with your prayers. Completely. Danish Dhamani, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story today.
My pleasure. Thank you for the great questions.
Really, I'm so inspired, and I think a lot of people will be inspired by your story, and I hope they can continue to follow your journey as well.
I hope so.